Okay, go ahead. Anyway, here we are live. Welcome everybody to SATX Media Upfronts 2021. San Antonio has some of the hottest brands, especially for media. This is one of the hottest brands. I mean, hottest best cities for media. I've been saying that, and I'm going to be saying it a lot more and a lot louder. I like to do certain claims like that I think will be controversial, but only if I can back them up. I love a controversial claim that I can back up. And the reason why I believe San Antonio is the best city for media is because I think it's the best city for a lot of stuff, especially focus. What's a major component of media? Lenses, focus. Why do I say San Antonio's good for focus? I got to put some merit on the board. Don't worry, I plan to do it. Take a look at the basketball team, the Spurs. Okay, very mild-mannered city. If you've never been to San Antonio and you were looking at the Spurs, you wouldn't really know how mild-mannered the city is. Why is it such a good city for the Spurs to go back-to-back in championships? Because, as they said, when you come to San Antonio, you get to slow down. Not so much that you're out of the game, but you have space to focus. There's enough going on, and I do believe that the city pools resources to itself. You know, it's pooling people from all over the country. People are moving here from New York. Tons of people are moving here from California. And that's another reason why it's a great city for media. So those two things, that's all I'm going to explain right now. I'm going to keep talking about why San Antonio is such a great city for media. But right now I want to talk a little bit more about what I think that means. And I think that means that the individuals in San Antonio have a lot of exporting to do. They've been doing a lot of importing media from LA, importing media from New York, and San Antonio is very cultured. So we've also been importing media from Mexico, importing media from Korea. And I think that what San Antonio needs to start doing is exporting, because yeah, those countries are great. They're really great at, especially not countries, sorry, those other communities of media are great. LA is really great, especially when it comes to the manufacturing, the product, the manifestation of these scripts and whatnot. They have a lot of manufacturing in their city, so they can make a lot of stuff, make a lot of sets. And I think that they do that very well. And I think that what they can get from us is the culture, though, because that's what people are really tuning in for. They want the culture. And here in San Antonio, we create culture at a level that I've never seen before. It's the only city that you can go to an event with 13 people, and all 13 people have been doing it their whole lives, die hard, they're really in it. But there's only 13, you know, but they're in it. This is such a powerful city for culture, such a powerful city for media. And so it excites me. It excites me. So what do I think needs to be going on? I think San Antonio individuals need to be exporting their culture. Okay. And then I also think that other people need to be getting the attention of San Antonians, because when you get convert San Antonians to your customers, I think one, we do love to import because we have a lot of money. I think there's a lot of free money going on in as far as comfort on the lower levels of life. In LA, New York, there isn't a lot of extra money to be pushed around, you know, for entertainment, and things cost a lot. So you have things to spend it on. In San Antonio, no, people out here, we're spending money, but it's a lot of Walmart. It's a lot of big screen TVs. It's a lot of delivery services because there isn't that much seemingly do, but there is to do, which is why if you're a company, so SATX Media Upfront stands in 2 points. One, to bring San Antonio creatives together to talk about what is going on. And Janie's already here, Terrazas, and I'm gonna introduce her, and then Mr. Composition's jumping in too, so you might see him. We're gonna talk more about it. And what was the last thing I was saying? I wanted to get to the point of, I don't know what the last thing I was saying was, but I'm sure it was on the point of those two things, which is okay, we're standing at the middle point. I want to, it's like a satellite. That's how I see the SATX Media Upfronts. It's a satellite floating. So let's upload all of the San Antonio creativity, spread it around the globe, and then let's also use it to pick up signals. I want to pick up other media companies, other advertising companies, product companies. I want you to take the SATX Media Upfronts as a way for you to introduce yourself to San Antonio media and start buying media from local companies. start figuring out how to partner with companies in San Antonio, because you might not be reaching them with your traditional methods. And there we are. Here we are at the SATX Media Upfronts. If you guys want to know more about that, go to www.voteearth.project4.tv and then go to the SATX Media Upfronts page. And then you can also look at the SATX Media Upfronts tag there. And then you can also check out the tag on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, hashtag SATX Media Upfronts. And so I want to introduce my the two people who are on my panel of sorts and my experience for the day. One of them helped me, and I almost kind of like, I feel like one day, you know, if SATX Media Upfronts made a ton of money, I'd probably have to give her like a chunk of it, because she did. I'm actually I did this to two people. After I introduced Janie, I'm going to introduce how I did the same thing to Mr. Composition, and how I just run with IP after collaborating with people on it. I'm incriminating myself, but you know, she helped to introduce. She's an amazing person in her own right. A television. An experienced television persona, and then she's been through a lot, and then she's also done her relationship coaching, and now she's come into her own with mindfulness coaching. So she spans the full board of what people do with this thing, and unlocking the potential of getting the friction of, you know, anxiety out of there, so you can use this thing, because truthfully we're all geniuses, and she focuses on that. So shout out to my first guest, Mrs. Janie Terrazas. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. We partner all the time. She's amazing. And then my second guest is also a longtime collaborator. Oh, so I was saying, Janie, she started SATX Media Upfronts with me. Started with me, no, but she did help me throw the first one, and she deserved 28% of that first one. 28 to 31% of the first one. And it was so awesome. She got the hookup, got the spot, and it was a beautiful event. And most of the people who came out, you know what, 45. Actually, you know, the food, there was great food there too. This was before everything 2 years ago. It was a great event. She brought out so many people, and I brought out people, and we talked, and we got mindful, and it was deep, and tears were shed, and companies that didn't know each other came together, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And as I said, my second guest, Mr. Composition, longtime collaborator, he has also, his company Dab Troll Creations has probably shot somewhere in the ballpark of 63% of the content on my YouTube and a lot of the different stuff that I do. And we work together on a lot of different stuff and countless different iterations of different stuff, from expansion tour, which is getting creators to move around and figure out how to do that sustainably, to Holiday Writers Convention, which is to really break down the universe that is writing and how that stretches into commerce and everything. So longtime collaborator, and also he also has a CBD business, which is booming. His CBD business is literally blowing up. He's taking over CBD for Texas. He's facilitating the distribution of CBD all over Texas with his event and company, the Texas CBD Fair and Market, and then Dab Troll, and then the Composition Wellness Solutions, which you can get on his website, dabtroll.com, and is one of the most respected MCs in San Antonio, featured multiple times in San Antonio publications and beyond. No stranger to the news at all. Welcome, Mr. Composition. How are you doing? So this is the perfect episode, and we have his brand under DTC Time Machine, because that's his umbrella brand, his umbrella agency, and he doesn't think of himself as having an agency so much, but he definitely also books a lot of talent when it comes to producing his events and for his shows. You know, I owe at least half of the shows. No, not 70. This time I have to go high. 77% of the shows that I did in the last couple of years was him and his pre-existing shows that he threw me on. So it's so great to have you two here. I think this is actually going to be super perfect because with this year, I was going to invite a lot of different people because that was so great on the first one. But I know I've been doing so much talking, I'm about to shut up, and we're going to get so much from our guests and hear what they're up to. But this year, I'm glad to be able to focus, and I wanted to take it down and really just touch on some points. Obviously, we can have different people on, but I think we're going to be able to get to some depth of, and maybe at least one person, if just one person gets to a deeper understanding of what the media culture here is in San Antonio, that is enough for me for at least 2 months. And then later on, I would like for the video to hit more people. What I'm really banking on is a video like this being watched in like 15 years and be like, oh my gosh, he was such a pioneer. He was kinds of videos having this kind of stuff way back then, and no one watched it. Why didn't I watch it? I wanted to be a part of it. That's what I'm really hoping for. It's that long. I'm playing a long game with it. But let's get right into it. I want to start with what you guys are doing because let's get a little. Let's hear from the two of you, starting with Janie. Let's hear what the future really does hold for San Antonio media. I think that your examples of what your businesses are doing and what you're planning on doing is going to be deep, and I'm sure some people will be able to take away from it. So we'll be able to expand on the industry of San Antonio media in general. So I'd love to hear what are you, Janie, start with you first. What are your plans? Yeah, we're going to chat a little bit, the three of us, right after that, but I'm going to start with 5 minutes from each of you. What are your plans for I don't think I mentioned your company, Rise Above TV. She takes everything that she does for people and she spreads it into this scalable media company. And I know she plans on producing more original shows. She has a couple of flagship shows, not to mention a couple in the vault, because she's a freaking resilient warrior. And she also has some new stuff that she wants to do. I'm sure way more stuff. I'm sure she wants to do like 20 different shows about a bunch of different stuff, but she has some shows that she's working on right now. And then also, and she uses that to spread out. I'm sure she'll be licensing some content too. So Rise Above TV, what's the plan for 2021?
I think, well, first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you everyone that's tuning in, and I'm super excited to be hanging out with the two of you guys. Rise Above TV, first and foremost, our main thing is about empowering humanity and supporting unity. And there are a variety of ways in which each person can do that. It's how do we empower ourselves and tap into our power, passion, and purpose, really align with the power of peace that is within us. And then how do we embody that to the maximum degree and then do the thing that we love and then share it with others and just start to create a different mindset. But in order to do that, we need to expand perspectives. And so as a mindfulness coach, one-on-one or with groups or however it is that I'm working, it's ultimately helping people understand the two sides of themselves. And what's cool is that plays out in a bigger scale out in the bigger world, right? The external world, the internal world. So for me, as a mindfulness coach, I really wanted to create content and collaborate with other people, other individuals like yourselves that are creating their own content, and it be like a social impact company, a social media platform that provides mindful content for living and loving. For those of you that are interested in living a real, authentic, alive life, like an exuberant life that's filled with magic and awesomeness, not just a bunch of pain and suffering. There is another way. And a lot of us are waking up to this. And some of us have really big mouths like me. And we really like microphones and things like this. And we happen to have a knack or an interest or a passion for storytelling. And so then we get interested in editing and shooting. Well, years ago, I ended up living in Los Angeles for 12 years. And when I say ended up, I shouldn't say that. I made the choice to walk away from the corporate world and a kind of life that most people would consider would be the narrative that we're fed, go to college, get a degree, get a good corporate job, work your way up, grind, be that hustler, make a lot of money, buy this, get married, have kids, blah, blah, blah. Luckily, for whatever reason, I didn't really succumb to that. entirely. I almost did. I started to. And then I had this awesome opportunity to go to California, and I packed up my Explorer, went out there, and ended up there living there for 12 years and got to see what production was, and directing and writing scripts and being around people, a lot of creative people from all different walks of life and different worlds and different religions. And I happen to be a very curious person by nature. So it made perfect sense that I fell into broadcasting. So I was doing television and radio, and I also worked in the fitness industry. So I worked with high level celebrity fitness trainers. It was just crazy the amount of information that I was taking in, not realizing that one day my life would take a crazy turn, and after, gathering all this information and experience and then tying it to creating an actual platform and a channel where I'm creating content. So
Yeah.
Rise Above TV at this point, if you go to the YouTube channel, that's really what I've been focused on. And 2021 is about bringing in the community, bringing in the people, because there's enough content there that will satisfy a person's appetite while season 2 is getting ready to roll out. So P3 is one of the shows, Power, Passion, Purpose. Real Talk, Real Men, REAL. I'm an acronym geek. So REAL is responsible, empathetic, accountable, and loyal. What does it mean to be those things as a man? So it's about mindfully redefining masculinity, and hopefully you'll be on it soon. And Kevin's been on a few episodes, so we have a handful of those, and that's going to be coming up this coming year too, and diving more deeply into those important talks. It's a lot about mental health, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. I want to be able to offer a little bit of all of that in one place. So P3 is where we basically sit with individuals who have tapped into their power, passion, purpose. And Kenya will be on this season, and I had Kevin on last season. So I love that we're always like supporting each other. But they have beautiful words of wisdom to share, and I have attracted individuals in my life that are living a very high vibe, conscious life that to me is very alluring and appealing in a lot of ways. And I think more and more people need to hear about these stories. We don't just get to this place by accident. It takes a lot of personal growth and self accountability and responsibility. It's another form of self care. Self care is self love. There's a lot of conversation that we need to have, a lot of conversations we need to have about a lot of different topics. I can only cover so much. That's why this year I'm going to be bringing in segment reporters that can really take on some additional shows that I want to add to the list. Like you said earlier, you're like, she probably has 20 shows, and I do. But the ones that I have right now are really great. Another one I have is called Cracking the Codependency Code. It's with myself and Barry Selby. We talk about how do you, what are some practical tips, tools, and techniques to help you heal that codependency mindset, and how do we get in that position in the first place? So this is relationship content. Like I said, it's about living and loving mindfully, loving yourself, learning how to have a real relationship with yourself and with others, so that we can connect in a more deep, in a deeper way. The other thing right now, there's so much division in the world. We have to find the beauty in the diversity within, like, what really connects us. There's diversity within unity that we need to learn how to appreciate. And that's something that I really want to bring. I want to shine a light and create conversations with people that are coming from two different perspectives and different walks of life, and showing how to have civil conversations. I think that's very crucial this coming year. So I'm looking forward to doing some projects. I won't say the names of them yet, but those will be some of the new ones. We also have a podcast channel. So if you just search Rise Above TV, it'll come up on all of them. And I have a series called Mindful Love that me and my partner do. And we have these brief little conversations that are very transparent. And it's based on how to have safe, real relationships that thrive. And SAFE is its own acronym. And I'm all about safe self-discovery, safe talks in all ways. So yeah, I know I said a lot, and that was like really fast. The other thing too is Rise Above TV, like you mentioned last year, we teamed up with y'all for the SATX media upfronts.
Yeah.
There's 3 parts to Rise Above TV. There's the podcast and the videos and the content, but then there's also the events and then there's webinars, and then eventually our collaborators have products, and we want to be able to offer that. So I'm really looking forward to expanding and growing this year. I really had to learn how to become a very balanced person so that I could lead my team. And I'm still a work in progress. You know what I mean? I'm still learning how to view. Kevin, you know about that shit, man. He's always like putting awesome stuff about procrastination. And, Kenya was just talking about a really great idea for calendars. And that's what I'm all about right now, is really focus on structure. I've got content for days. Now I gotta pump it out and put it out in a way that it's accessible and easy for people to get to. So yeah, that's it, man. It's about peace and unity, oneness.
Boom, that's so exciting. I took a couple of notes. That is great. So we'll talk more after we get the same 5 minutes from Mr. Composition. Thank you so much, Jane Terraza.
Yes.
Yo, yes. Thank you for having me. It's so good to be here with both of y'all. And shout out to all y'all that are viewing. My name is Kevin Prince, aka Mr. Composition, MC that writes fiction. And so 2021, I think a theme that I've been pondering on today and just the last couple of days has been reinventing yourself and rebuilding. I think that a lot of people, when they think about demolition, they think about like, oh my goodness, like I have to rebuild. But the sheer fact that you get to rebuild is a luxury. And a lot of times we don't take the time to really take into consideration if, after all of the destruction, what is it that we have, going back through relationships, trying to mend. I just turned 30, so I look at my 20s as like this super wild ride that I was just like, whoa, like that is crazy, but now here I am starting this new decade, and I look at where I want to be when I turn 40, and knowing how important relationships are, that's really a big part of the composition brand, and the fact that, when you think about something that's a composition of something, it's a blend of everything, it's a blend of different parts, which is pretty much us, we're a composition, we're a composition blend of our parents, our grandparents, society, all these different things. And so the content that I put out is basically making that bridge between the two, and so 2021, now that I went through and had all these crazy experiences that, when I look back at it, I'm just like, man, I wouldn't change a thing. My 20s was freaking fire. I'm just all like, yo, that was dope. And the fact that I have it all documented, like I got it all on camera, like that's what Dabtro Creations is, because I know the importance of being able to look back and see my growth, because a lot of times we forget we got all this stuff bombarding us all the time, and we're steadily have these inner battles that we got going on, and some people are a lot better than others at, not showing it, but it doesn't mean those same people are that much better at being able to tend to it, like, and a lot of times we walk around with these different masks. And so I realized a lot of my strategy through my 20s was just trying different things. And so because I'm a creature of habit, I realized the last couple of years of my 20s was really just this all around demolition. Like it was Thanos with the snap on everything. And I wasn't even like conscious of it. I was just literally following what I felt I need to do. And sometimes people are so resistant to that because they don't want to go through that. Something that I talked with Kenya earlier was the fact that I was looking at these two people, Gary Vaynerchuk and this relationship and image consultant, Kevin Samuels. And I noticed, as far as the people that they would have on their channel and the connection between content and relationship. And I'm just all like, most people want to be the exception. You know, a lot of people, they want the world to bend to them. You know, like they don't, they they put their feelings with data and statistics, and they fight that with logic and reason and reality, you know. And then there's so many people that are pushing that delusion that it is dangerous, you know. The Be the example instead of trying to be the exception. You know, most people that are the exception is because they were exceptional at being the example. You know, that high level example, you know, execution landed them up there. You know, and so many people bring these random rare circumstances, and I hear, you know, some people use it as a form of, you know, they bring up a circumstance, and most of the time people are talking about in general, which most people live in general, but what they aspire to be is the rare percentage, but they think as if they're already in that rare percentage, you know, not realizing that the work that comes with it. Oh, you want 20,000 subscribers on your YouTube? Can you handle that? You know, so it's just all like, it's taking what it means as far as an embracing demolition, and embracing if you do have something that you can start building with. You know, this is the rebuilding process. So like, I'm going through, you know, old friendships, relationships, family members, you know, customers, people who've gotten my stuff, everything, and just on the rebuilding, see what I can still, you know, scavenge from that, you know, if anything, and anything that I can moving forward, knowing that this is a 10+ year process, you know, from getting from here to where I want to be at, you know, 40. You know, there's no point in trying to leap and make these bounds as far as this year, you know, when I need to spread certain things out. There's a lot that goes into tending to your garden every single day. It may sound like it's easy, but if you get a plant and try it to water it every single day that it needs to be watered. And you got to realize what type of plant that it is, because some plants don't need to be watered every day. You know, so you have to understand what plant that you even have and how often it needs to be watered. So that's what 2021 is. It's the rebuilding, where I'm scavenging through and seeing what, you know, is underneath the rubble of my 20s, and, you know, going to, after all the experience and things, the trial and error, I now have stuff that worked. You know, out of all of that sprinkle of demolition, there was a couple of jewels that I got there that I can use to build a foundation, you know, for my 30s going into my 40s and beyond. You know, that's what that 20 wild ride was, of relationships and going out the country and dropping a book and albums and touring, and just all the things that I didn't even know was that I could do. I'm happy. That was my 20s. I'm freaking happy. Like, I get to go into my 30s with an LLC, with a thriving business, you know, with the book, with all of these different tools that I got. And it was like, whoa, you know, like, yeah, you know, I got some holes and some flames on my shoulder, and, you know, like, I'm scruffed up, but yo, I made it. And now I'm gonna go through, see what it is that I got, clean myself up, and then give y'all straight quality, you know, like, give straight quality, because the quality for myself, quality of living, quality, because though in my 20s, it was just like, I'm just trying to survive. I want y'all to still get this stuff, but yo, like, like I'm thirsty. Like, give me some water, give me some bread, you know? And so that's what 2021 is for Dab Show Creations and the Composition Wellness Solutions.
That's awesome.
That is super cool. I took notes from all of you. I also had myself as a presenter in there. So go live with Kenyo. What are we doing in the new year? We're gonna do some cool stuff. I started Influence Hour, which was a show I was gonna do nightly, but then I decided I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do these as features as far as when I can think of somebody or anything like that. So we're gonna be Influence Hour is gonna keep going. Started it in Austin in a studio, and what it's about is products, and it's about, you know, how we use products and so and influencers, those two things, and focusing on that. I really want it to be like an attack show to attack big companies, but I'm building it up slowly. So I'm just like getting the vibes, getting influencers on there. So we'll be doing that show. I'm basically, one thing that I did is when I started Kenya Poetry Live in 2016, which was very much with the beginning of Project Forward. It was a live event, you know, it was a weekly live event where we sold tickets. And it turned into Kenyo Live, and then that turned into Go Live with Kenyo. And so going back over everything, I basically combined everything into one thing, Go Live with Kenyo. Go Live with Kenyo launched a website. And then also Kenyo, I brought back Influence Hour is new. I put that under the Go Live with Kenyo brand. And then I put Kenyo Live. I'm bringing that back as a partner show with an amazing musician, Rodney Perkins, you know, professional musician from New York, and he knows a lot of professionals around San Antonio, Texas, and so we're going to be collaborating to do features as well, and those are going to be coming out about weekly, and these are all going to be podcasts as well. So it's Influence Hour, Go Live with Kenyo, and then Kenyo Live, Go Live with Kenyo, focusing mostly on the large episodes. I don't know if we'll come back to live events this year. We probably will. Probably at least, definitely. Actually, we're going to come back at some point with some type of live show. We'll see what that's about, though. And then last but not least on there, Kenyo Poetry Live is the last element of Go Live with Kenyo that I hope to bring back in 2021. And what I really want to be doing that is focusing heavily on, it's going to be a little bit different from shows, but on the website, I can tell you that what I'm going to be doing is going over I want to use it to expose people to talented entertainers. So any kind of talented entertainment I find, I'm going to be writing blog posts and using that as features on the main Go Live with Kenyo site. And it's a lot of fun. And so, I want to go over some notes of some things that you guys said that I thought was really cool now that we've all talked about what we're going to be doing in 2021. It's exciting. Great media. And yes, we do all collaborate a lot, which is so awesome. And so you guys are really getting to see like a little segment of the San Antonio media industry, because Janie, you know, she partners with a lot of other people. And then, you know, Mr. Composition as well. So it's just, you're seeing 3 different media companies. Janie, some things I was thinking about. I'm just going to talk about muses, and so we can use that to jump into a general conversation of media, see what I kind of think about with it. What I got from you was the edutainment focus, you know, combining the purpose of the media with the cool delivery. And then you said something very interesting about social media platform, which is very fascinating. You're talking about Rise Above TV. And then you said social media platform. That was a little interesting to me. So I was like, okay, what's going on over here? Are we? Because, you know, there's some fun things to that, and we got some stuff going on to where I'm going to be, you know, posting some more of your content. I mean, well, Project Forward, one of my brands, is going to be, you know, licensing out some content and distributing it. And we're going to build on that, and I think it's so interesting. So I'm gonna keep going. I like that. Bringing in the community that thinks and think about social media platform again. And Mr. Composition, you mentioned some stuff about that as well. And then what was funny to me, Janie, is that you mentioned literally me and Mr. Composition's tagline for the expansion tour, which is expand and grow. So you mentioned that specifically. You were saying that I want to expand and grow, and I thought that was so fascinating. And, you know, it makes me think, it would be cool because what the expansion was the eye-opening realization of what happens when you take these media things on the road.
I know.
So it'd be cool if we link up and we do. One thing I'm really thinking about is an I-35 tour. If like the three of us and then whoever else, whatever we bring for this second part of the expansion, we do a thing where we do Dallas. I'm thinking Dallas, Waco, Temple, Austin. San Marcos, San Antonio. That'd be a cool little weekend. I mean, when me and Mr. Composition did the expansion, started going out to Austin, eventually made it out to California, crazily ending in Japan. There was so much there about what the dynamics of how the brain interacts with what's going on, especially as a media company. When you're used to being able to sit in your city and and just dump out content, your brain is interacting with it in a different way. When you start traveling, I think certain things, just like in traveling, you might up your relationship with like water bottles, or you might your relationship with meal prepping and stuff like that. Your business gets the same thing. You're like, oh, wait a second, I'm going to be having a lot of fun today, but I'm also going to be moving around. The logistics are weird. Maybe I'm going to switch, the way that I do this. And so many different things come to your mind, batching content, different types of strategies to just be agile with your content. And it creates this expansion because now you've taken what used to be the 100% and put it straight into the 20%, immediately. And the 80% becomes this whole engaging thing of like meeting new people, being, like just the dynamic of bringing your brand, collaborating with another city. That's kind of how I think about it. It's like to be able to collaborate with another city. It's just like collaborating with another person, sort of. So you said that was really cool. Mr. Let me go fast now because I'm doing my thing where I go off on tangents. Mr. Composition, you talked about shows about relationships. You kind of mentioned bringing that in a little bit, like so that sounded interesting. You talked a lot about looking back, and I think that's huge. Reflection, taking all this content, doing the story so that people can look at and enjoy the contextualness of the past 2, 5, 10 years. And then you said tending to your garden, which is a big thing, I think, in media companies this year for all of us. How can we, especially, these solopreneur media companies, how can we make sure that not only are we watering our audiences every day, but we're getting in the comments. I think that's very fascinating, and it's a very important part of this media thing, especially for 2021 when people feel disconnected. I think, getting more people into Zooms, getting more people in messages and DMs and stuff like that. So we get that. And then you talked about quality, taking a break, taking a breather, refreshing, and then leveling up the quality in this new season. All great stuff. And I think that's great stuff for the San Antonio community in general. I love that. So let's pick up a couple of points. Where do we even go? So the state of media in San Antonio isn't. I harp on it in a somewhat negative way a lot of times because I feel like there's so many opportunities for connectivity that have not yet been pioneered, and I think it's harder in some ways here. But I almost want to, I don't want to just ask a flat question like, what do you think about media in San Antonio? I kind of want to stay in the realm of some of the stuff that I picked up from what you guys are saying, because that's really more indicative of what I think San Antonio media is. And that's what the point of point of us doing this is all about. So, SATX Media Upfronts. How do we dive into something really cool on what you guys both just said? If there's an audience here, I might try to do a Q&A or something like that, so you get some fresh ideas. But
I think that.
Okay.
Oh wait, were you going to say something? Go ahead.
No, go. I was excited. You
well, I'll throw something in there, and then we can see if we want to run with it.
Right.
So right now, healing is like a powerful word. There's a lot of healing that's going to need to take place. There's a lot of dismantling. What was the word that you used, Kevin, exactly when you were talking about sort of like, I loved it, deconstruction?
Yeah, demolition.
There you go. I love that. I love it even better. Demolition. There's a lot of the systems are going to have to break down in ideologies and belief structures, and that can be very, very uncomfortable in a lot of ways. And so the arts in general are very healing. And there's the indigenous people and our ancestors, really understood the power of movement and music and poetry and writing. It's therapeutic. One of the shows that I'll be rolling out, and I think this ties into two things. One, really shining a light on the arts and giving people a space where they can share their magic and their message. So, like, for example, I'm going to do a show called Mindful Makers and Creators. I had this idea where it's like, how do I get other people from different places to contribute content for this particular segment? And so there's dancers that when you see them, they move you. You know what I mean? And it's how do we bring this to create dialogue and also share some powerful messages. So it's like these mindful makers and creators that are providing things that will unite us and get people talking. And so, yes, I can create that segment, but other people would be contributing to it. And now you can get people from all over the country and all over the world if it starts to spread, because that's my goal, right? Is to get people from all over the place sharing their sounds and their takes on different things. Kenya, you're into poetry. I mean, both of you guys are poets and rappers and singers, and you do all kinds of stuff. So imagine, having like a 10-minute segment or whatever where somebody gets to share their magic and their message. And I think we need more of that. And it'd be really.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And that's where I'm going to do it, because I don't actually want to go too much longer with this. Yeah. So I'm going to do these two last questions for both of you, and you can try to answer as fast as possible. But not that I'm rushing it or anything like that, but you guys can always hit us up, individually, and we'll do the tags afterwards. But so two questions. One, how do you plan to incorporate creators from other cities into your content? I'd love to hear that. And then also creators and brands from other cities. How do you plan to incorporate that in your content and bring that into San Antonio? Kind of touching on the import-export thing that I talked about last time. How do you plan to bring those creators and brands into the city? Do you want to do it through features, sponsors, a strategy of getting that import export idea? And then the same thing with going the other way. How do you plan to take San Antonio brands and creators either through features and sponsorships? Same thing. And how do you plan to get them out? Yeah. I think we'll start with Mr. Composition on this one.
Oh man, so the fact that I run a market, that's like my biggest funnel, and the fact that I do an interview. So I interview people from all over. I had an interview with an astrologist from Russia. Like that was like super freaking cool. I'm just like, what? This is awesome technology, So that's a big part of it. So just in the content in general, being that I'm in the cannabis and wellness space, I'm able to dive into a bunch of different things. And my thing is to destigmatize as far as just everything around the plant, So making people know like it's a part of everyday lifestyle. Most random people smoke. Your grandma probably gets down with a couple of J's, son. So it's just like realizing that you're not going to be able to pin a face, and decriminalize and make it about a particular group of people, so that's my main funnel, so sponsorships as well, being that it's open to all over, You know, sponsorship's a big word. You know, I'm trying to get the attention of, you know, SpaceX with, you know, cannabis, because, you know, my way of thinking is, you know, how does cannabis fit in space? You know, is this the material that the astronauts, you know, are in space with? Can you smoke it? Like, you know, what tests and stuff are we running as far as with that, you know, and to get, because these astronauts, either they go or they come back with certain things like anxiety or PTSD and different things like that. And, you know, something like CBD or marijuana in general would be something that can help them. Or with it being in space, could that alleviate some of the symptoms of being out in fucking space? Like, you know, like just that whole idea, you know. So that's a big thing. And being that Elon Musk is, you know, moving to Texas, and there's a lot of Texas energy, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see a version of Silicon Valley in Texas, you know, like in just a big tech, you know, build up as far as from that. Because even in our wellness and our spiritual journey, it's incorporating these technological aspects to it and finding the balance. You know, the same way in ancient times, you know, they had to balance something like money, you know, or different things like that. You know, it's a new version of what it is that we're aligned with and attached to. You know, that's a part of our everyday lives. So being able to do that, and yeah, sponsorships, interviews, highlights, you know, same thing, you know, just showcasing, you know, letting people tell their stories. That's the main thing, is everyone from around the world has a story, and somebody from San Antonio will be listening to someone in New Jersey's story and relate to that brand, you know. And my way of doing that in reverse, as far as for San Antonio to other places, is pretty much the showcasing of local talent that's mixed in with it, you know. So people that are going through, you know, my podcast or YouTube playlists and different things like that, they're going to see a mixture of people from San Antonio and all over, you know, and creating, turning my platform into, you know, a place for people to get their sources from, you know, whether that be for music, whether that be for education, or whether that be for, you know, health. You know, all of those things are incorporated with each other, you know. So that's the main thing. That's how
I
I
love
do it.
that. I love that. You know, making these platforms culture exchange meeting places. Janie, what do you think?
You know, I'm in alignment with a lot of that. I think I mentioned earlier, you know, extending opportunities for artists to contribute content to the channel in
Right.
a way to help get their name out there is one thing. I
Mhm.
think also, too, my goal is to find brands and organizations that are in alignment with our mission and would like to basically sponsor or promote, not promote, but back up one of the projects. So once we get like Real Talk Real Men, there may be an organization that really believes in what it is that we're doing, and we offer them a package of what that looks like. This is what it would cost to say, brought to you by this particular brand, just like they do on television, right? Add advertisers or sponsorships. And these companies, ideally, I would first seek companies so that I could support local businesses. But I think the direction that Rise Above TV is going is sort of this international brand. And so there'll be opportunities for international companies that are maybe just kind of starting up, but they're also looking to collaborate. So I think there's a lot of that collaboration that can be really useful. The other thing
Right.
too that I would like to do, and I'll breathe live into it because I've already thought of it, but how I'll do it exactly is uncertain. But
Mhm.
once Rise Above TV is actually bringing in funds to support what it is that we're doing,
Mhm.
part of the profits, a percentage of it, what that is, I don't know what it'll be, but let's say it's 10% of whatever Rise Above TV makes that month, we will give to a particular nonprofit organization. You know, maybe it'll be one that we team up with for an entire year, and a percentage of whether we're selling products, webinars, whatever it is. I really want to have a good balance of free webinars, free community classes, free events, along with the ones that you pay for. And you said the word quality earlier, Kevin, you know, quality content, quality events. It's like, instead of pumping out a bunch of stuff, I'd rather do a handful of things and really do it to the best of our ability. You know what I mean? And if that means it takes more time, then it means it takes more time. But being able to host events and have international sponsors and or take Rise Above TV and or share our content, you know, wherever they are. The other thing too is, you were talking about how do we get the talent from different places, like San Antonio talent, into other places and vice versa. A lot of people are putting together what they call summits. I'm sure you heard of this. And you were kind of talking about earlier, the three of us going on the road. It's kind of similar, you know what I mean? And so these summits, you've got these powerhouses that are getting together to deliver real, like edutainment or information, empowering, inspiration, and they're gathering together. And so by them bringing in their community, you know, through their social media platforms and shining a light on this one event, we're sharing the name San Antonio, Texas, you know, through me speaking there or me bringing other collaborators to be a part of something. So, yeah, I see this big thing in the future where we really create it's called a Gila-palooza. And it's like,
awesome.
you know, and it's like all this cool arts and stuff, and all these major powerhouse media companies that are building what we're building now are coming together and creating some really cool thing like that can be replicated or taken to other places. So it's just like a big old love wave and peace wave. And I know it's not all kumbaya. There's going to be some dirty work involved, but I think that with the right people doing the right things, using their voice in the right way and using their gifts and talents, and the media in a responsible way, is really going to be a big part of how the world is going to get to heal, you know, and get to a better place, a better state of mind, state of heart, state of soul, state of body.
I love that so much. I love that so much. I'm going to steal your taking 10% of whatever Rise Above and donating that. I'm going to do that with Go Live with Kenyo. I wanted to do that with homelessness since the beginning of Kenyo Poetry Live. And so I'm gonna start doing that.
It's like a law of the universe, you know. It's sort of this divine compensation, and then you'll be blessed even more, you know. But we're doing it because of the like the kind of hearts we have.
The law of reciprocity.
That's it, brother.
I'm almost for shameless advertisement as well, you know, just for. No, but I've wanted to do the homeless one. I'm gonna find a good homelessness organization that I can partner with. I would have done Haven for Hope, but I'm really tempted to find a national homelessness cause, because I think that would be more fun. So I love that.
You know what you need to look into, Kenyo? Look into Project Empathy. Project Empathy. Okay. Oh my God, you're gonna love this kid. This guy, yeah, they are based out of Utah, a father and son, and a little boy. I think he was around 6 years old when he had a desire to start something. And yeah, he's getting involved with lawmakers in Utah and really like making an impact with the homelessness and stuff. It's amazing.
Okay, that's it. Project Empathy, because of Jane Terraza. This is why we do stuff like this. Because of Jane Terraza, 10% of GLK is going to Project Empathy. I just went to Utah 2 years ago. I love Utah, and I've just been feeling a connection there. So that's going to be really cool. All right, this has been so great. Honestly, I love that last segment. That really took it to a whole nother level. I'm excited to see how San Antonio moves to higher levels in media. That's one of my biggest goals in life, is to be able to say the work I put in, especially because I'm in the city. If I'm in a city, then that means that God meant for me to be there. And if God meant for me to be there because of how much he loves me, that means he loves that place. So I'm super duper dedicated to San Antonio. And one of my goals is for the media to get to a whole new level. Because when I see it, I'm like, it's beautiful, amazing city. I love it. It's chill. It's cultured out the waz. The people are deep deep. The people are deep. And they're balanced and they're calm, very calm and deep. And so I'm very excited to see media in the city get to the next level. Let's do some tags. Where can they find you, Janie? Let's hear it.
All right, they can go to janieterrazas.com, go get the Know Thyself Jumpstarter Kit. It's free, put in your email, be a part of my community if you're looking for inspiration and empowerment and just mindful tips and tools and things of that sort. But as far as Rise Above TV, go to riseabovetv.com. You can also connect with @riseabovetv across like the platforms. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out the content, and February we'll be rolling out some new stuff. As far as connecting with me personally on social media and Instagram and all that, it's @Janie the Mindfulness Coach.
Boom, @Janie the Mindfulness Coach. You guys check it out, www.janieterrazas.com. And then also, what was that, riseabove.tv?
No, riseabovetv.com.
Oh, riseabove.com. Oh my God. You know, I've been doing that steady for the.
No, it's okay. You've been saying TV. No, you're riseabovetv.com. You got it. You just put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yes, riseabovetv.com. Mr. Composition, hit him with the handles.
Bam, you can find all of my products and services at dabtro.com. I got CBD pre-rolls, the composition, CBD blends for you, and also got tarot reading services available for you. And then my music at mrcomposition.com and mrcomposition.bandcamp.com, and all of the videos at YouTube, Dabtro Creations, and follow us online, the Texas CBD Fair on Instagram and Facebook, and also Black Writers of San Antonio. Like us on Facebook, and SpaceX, holla at us.
Boom, yo, you guys, it's been real. If you hit up the hashtag SATX Media Upfronts, you can find me at Kinyo HQ on all this stuff, and then head over to www.projectforward.tv, as well as kinyo.org, and you'll find everything there. Shoot me an email, drop me a comment, so that I can hear from you and connect with you, because that is really the coolest thing. That's what makes media so cool. And thank you so much to my great guests. Thank you guys for making time, for coming in, for dropping that knowledge and creating this perspective, this awareness of media here in San Antonio. We're going to drop these clips. I'm going to clip it up. We're going to drop these clips and hopefully inspire even more people in San Antonio, because I know we're inspiring people. I know you guys are inspiring people. It's impossible for you to not, and you're doing so much good work. You're giving out so much value. You're giving so much of yourselves. And it's awesome. And thank you guys for watching. SATX Media Upfronts 2021 ended. Goodbye.
Peace be in us.
Bye.
Peace.
Right.